What's going on, Go Nation? I'm back with another video. I'm going to be reacting to the Cosmic Wonder breaking Marvel fires another exec who tried firing Kevin Feige. Who's trying to fire Kevin? We got to protect Kevin at all costs. This video sounds insane. I got to react to it. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 100 subs. Let's get into it.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. Disney and Marvel have fired yet another Marvel executive today, further proving that Disney and Marvel Studios truly are shaking things up. However, today was a pretty big one. They fired the person who was actually responsible for Disney owning Marvel Studios. However, he was also responsible for a lot of contention within Disney, and he was the person who tried to get Kevin Feige fired. Yes, they fired Ike Perlmutter, the chairman of Marvel Entertainment, and quite possibly the most controversial executive that Marvel had. Now, the reports today that come with this firing of Ike Perlmutter truly do tell us that we are in for a good old-fashioned shakeup with the MCU, but as we've been talking about over the past couple of months, this is believed to be a good thing. However, this will result in some delays. We've already kind of started to see them, but overall, this is going to be a very good thing for Marvel Studios and the MCU, and of course, we'll break it all down. So some people might actually hate but also love Ike Perlmutter because he is the reason that Disney now owns Marvel Studios and the characters that come with Marvel. But he is also the reason that Disney does not own Spider-Man and didn't own any of the X-Men until recently. Ike Perlmutter gained control of Marvel in the late 1990s, and what he did at that time was expand its merchandising business. And he licensed properties like the X-Men and Spider-Man to different movie studios. So right now, he is currently why Spider-Man is not owned by Disney. He did not know what Marvel Studios was going to turn into back then. He didn't know anything about the MCU, of course. He was just trying to make Marvel work until eventually he sold Marvel to Disney in 2009. Now, since he sold Marvel to Disney in 2009, his role and his involvement with Marvel and Marvel Studios has greatly diminished over time. And by the end of his career, which was Monday, March 27th, his role with Marvel Studios was pretty much nothing. He was really over Marvel Entertainment, so his job by the end was pretty much just publishing the comics, which is a big deal, of course. But as far as being involved with movies or shows, he really wasn't anymore. And the reason for that is he tried to get Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, the person who started the Marvel Cinematic Universe, fired. He tried to get Kevin Feige fired. Luckily, at that time, like I said, he sold Marvel to Disney in 2009, and this was past that point, so Bob Iger was in charge, and Bob Iger stepped in and said, no, you're not firing Kevin Feige. And that's not the only real controversial thing that he's kind of done at Disney. He was very, very against diversity in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He consistently said that these diverse characters and these smaller characters weren't going to work in the MCU, and they wouldn't sell as much merchandise. In fact, the reason that he lost oversight of movies for Marvel Studios in 2015 was because of his feud with Kevin Feige. Ike Perlmutter and Kevin Feige were arguing over the costs of the first Doctor Strange film. They didn't see eye to eye, and Perlmutter wanted to fire Kevin Feige, but like I said, Bob Iger stepped in and overruled him. Thank you, Mr. Iger, and it is good to have you back. But when he did have some say over the Marvel movies, one of the biggest influences that he had was in 2013 with Iron Man 3. Kevin Feige had Rebecca Hall's Maya Hansen set up to be the villain of Iron Man 3. However, Ike Perlmutter put his foot down and he changed the villain to Guy Pearce's Aldrich Killian. And the reason that he made that change was because he thought that a male villain would do better and that a female villain wouldn't sell as much merchandise. So that's why we got Aldrich Killian as the villain
like that, I swear.
Because of Ike Perlmutter. However, like I mentioned, his dispute with Kevin Feige in 2015 would cost him control over all and any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe Marvel Studios movies that they produced. From then on out, it was pretty much Kevin Feige's call. And it's really interesting that he fought him over all this because at this point in time, we were already well into the MCU. We already had our first Avengers film, which was a huge and massive success. So it's really interesting that he would still fight with Kevin Feige after all of the success that Marvel Studios had already had. And actually, Ike Perlmutter was almost responsible for something truly tragic. Now, he tried to get Kevin Feige fired, but Bob Iger stepped in and said no. However, Kevin Feige at one point was pretty distraught with Marvel Studios and how everything was going. Kevin Feige wanted diverse characters in the MCU, but Ike Perlmutter was fighting against him. He had a lot of opposition towards this, and this almost caused Kevin Feige to take a position at DC. This could have drastically changed the entire superhero world as we know it. Who knows what would have happened if Kevin Feige left the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if he left Marvel Studios. We are not sure what would have happened to Marvel Studios, and if he went over to DC, well, perhaps it could have been a little bit better. In fact, I'm sure it would have been. I'm sure Kevin Feige would have went over to DC and established a true cinematic connected universe. This really could have changed everything. However, Ike Perlmutter would eventually lose oversight with anything relating to movies or shows. In 2019, he lost oversight of Marvel Television, which at the time consisted of the Marvel Netflix shows. And eventually, of course, they all ended and Disney Plus became a thing, and Kevin Feige is now in charge of all of them. And he's bringing them over to the MCU. He's already brought back Daredevil, he's bringing back the Punisher, he's got Kingpin back already, and rumor is Jessica Jones is going to join them as well in the Daredevil series. Now, the New York Times have reported that he was fired on Monday. They reached out to Disney and Disney confirmed this. However, they got no comment from Ike Perlmutter. This comes from Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney right now, his attempt to cut cost, where they are firing over 7,000 employees all across Disney. That's about 4% of its global total. And it's $5.5 billion in cuts. And this was meant to improve Disney's financial results. And this comes at a time where Marvel Studios themselves are shaking things up with the firing of Victoria Alonso. Now, Bob Iger has already come out and spoken about how they are going to be cutting back on shows and how they want to focus on more quality over quantity. Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, came out and said the same. So it looks like we're getting kind of back to how it was in Phase 1 through Phase 3. A few Marvel movies a year, and then some Disney Plus shows, and of course Disney Plus special presentations thrown in there as well. But what's great is this does also free up some money for Marvel Studios to use. Marvel Entertainment was under Marvel Studios. And now the president of Marvel Entertainment, Dan Buckley, will remain, and he reports directly to Kevin Feige. Whereas before, he had to report to Ike and Kevin Feige. And make no mistake, Ike Perlmutter, even though he really didn't have any say over Marvel Studios anymore, consistently tried to interfere. In fact, he wanted to monitor all the activities at the Marvel offices. So at one point, he installed at least 20 cameras throughout the offices. But of course, eventually Disney ended up ripping them out. Then for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, he demanded financial information about the movie, and he kept questioning Kevin Feige's decision to spend $200 million to make the sequel, which ended up earning $956 million worldwide. And overall, from what we've heard, he was kind of just a bummer to have around, because he was pretty bitter about the decision to make him really over nothing with Marvel Studios. In fact, Bob
I do have to go, bro.
CNBC and was asked about if a feud perhaps fueled the shakeup that caused Ike Perlmutter to not be over any movies or shows. Bob Iger said this: "Well, you'd have to ask Ike about that, but let's put it this way. He was not happy about it, and I think that unhappiness exists today." Well, Bob Iger promised a shakeup over at the studio, and now it is happening.
Yeah, we're getting it.
Of course, like you
That's
said,
for
this
sure.
is to cut costs. And with this firing and the firing of Victoria Alonso, hopefully that means that Kevin Feige is going to be more involved, and hopefully he has a little bit more money to make these projects a little bit better. Not only that, but Kevin Feige did confirm that they are going to release fewer Disney Plus projects per year. This also opens up more money per year for them as well to spend on each project. So overall, them cutting back on projects and Disney cutting back on costs does give Marvel Studios a good opportunity here to really increase the quality of content that it has been releasing. So hopefully the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general is about to get better with their Disney Plus shows and their movies. And if one thing is for certain right now, it is that Marvel Studios has heard the fans. They have heard the fans' complaints, and they are actively trying to get better. There's no doubt that most fans out there right now prefer Phase 1 through 3 over Phase 4. A lot of
like
fans
Phase
have
4 a
said
lot.
that the quality has simply lacked all around. With the CGI, with the storytelling, with the characters. Don't get me wrong, I don't think Phase 4 has been that bad, but there are a lot of dissatisfied fans out there. However,
some ups and some downs. I enjoy it.
Phase 5 is going to get big, and Phase 6 is going to be the biggest Marvel Studios has ever tried to be. With the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars right around the corner, at least we hope. Hopefully there aren't too many delays, and hopefully we still get Avengers, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars in a few years. But the best part is Marvel Studios really is shaking things up. They are intending on getting better, so a bright future is ahead for Marvel Studios.
Another great video from Cosmic, man. So yeah, hey, this dude, he had to go. I forgot his name already, and good riddance. Good riddance. Hey, I swear I hate people that talk about, oh, we need to have the male as the evil guy in every movie. Oh my god, that kills me. Okay, it gets underneath my skin. Okay, always need to have diversity. Our world is diverse. There's a lot of diversity in our world, so why wouldn't you have diversity in our movies and our shows? You know what I'm saying? So that guy, he's thinking one way, and I'm thinking he out the door. Okay, he gone. Bye bye. See you later. He gone. And like I said before, we're gonna protect Kevin Feige at all costs. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed that video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment or two. You already know what to do. Go Nation. I'm out.